Hi. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. We've got Eddie Howe now for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll be joined by Malik Chow. If you have a question, please get my attention. You should also have headsets for simultaneous translation. Who wants to start us off? Keith.
Tino Stiggs. Hi, Eddie. Nice to see you.
Hi, Keith.
How's the squad looking after the weekend? I would imagine buoyed by the result and the performance. How are you looking team news-wise in terms of fitness?
Yeah, we're good, as you say, boosted by the result against Manchester City. Team news-wise, yeah, we're pretty similar. We've obviously welcomed back Dan Burn from suspension. Anthony Gordon's travelled with us. Emil Krafth has travelled with us as well. Kieran Trippier hasn't, so that's pretty much, I think, the big news.
Obviously, Tino, Livramento and Lewis Hall played very well on Saturday. Are they at a stage where they could go and start another game just 3-4 days later?
Well, that's the decision that I have to make, really. I have to consult the medical team, the sports science team, and try and come up with the right decisions regarding both of those players. I mean, they're so important for us, as you saw on Saturday, that their longer-term fitness is crucial for us, and especially with Kieran's injury, we're not quite sure how long he will be out. That leaves us short of options in the fullback position. So, yeah, decision for me to make overnight and into tomorrow to try and pick the best team to try and win this game, but also protect them.
Thanks, Keith. Jordan Cronin?
Yeah, such a great win on Saturday, Eddie. I mean, is it impossible not to make changes tomorrow, given that you've given the intensity of Saturday and also you've got Everton on a weekend as well?
Yeah, I think I've said many times this season, I think that there's an element where trusting the squad is really important. We've got some very, very good players who will be desperate to play as well. And I do trust everybody, and I think we have the depth to play these games. I think by playing the same players in every game will not help us achieve our objective. So, but every game's different. The challenge is different. Certain players will suit certain games. So, as I said, that's the decisions I have to make, really.
Thank you. Lee Ryder?
Eddie, is a sort of feel that you want to get the job done early or as early as possible so that it gives you more options later in the competition where you could perhaps rest and rotate a little bit more?
Yeah, we just want to win the game. I don't know about looking too far ahead in terms of qualification and rotating the team later in the competition. Of course, if we're able to do that, then great. But at the moment, we're still very much in the thick of the Champions League. It's still, everything's an option for us. We've just got to try and win each game, and this will be a very, very difficult game in a testing environment for us. We're looking forward to the challenge that will bring us. The stadium's incredible, really great place to play football. I'm sure the atmosphere will be red hot. So again, all the things for me that are positive, but we need to help that make our performance stronger.
Kieran?
Good afternoon. Obviously, you had the big home win the other day. Going back to the issues you've had on the road, as you mentioned with the atmosphere, does this feel a real litmus test? Have you changed anything with preparation for away games lately, given the issues you've had?
Well, the Champions League games are different to Premier League games, so I don't know if you can look at it that way for us. Yeah, we're always changing things and tweaking things, as we said before Manchester City. We've travelled early. We're going to train on the stadium. Tomorrow will be, we'll look to prepare slightly differently, but to try and keep the players mentally engaged and ready for this game. But I think the most important decisions we have to make are how we play and how then the players implement that plan. That will always be the acid test in terms of our performances.
Okay, RMC?
Oui, bonjour, question en français?
Yeah, so question in French. You should... So a question about Mason Greenwood, who's best goal scorer in the French Championship. We had a question about him, and Roberto de Zerbi said that he's the Mason Greenwood that he knows he's a totally different person from the Mason Greenwood that was depicted after his extra sportive behavior. What do you think about that?
I don't think mine's come through.
Okay. About Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood's a different person from the Mason Greenwood that first arrived in Marseille. What do you think of that?
I think regarding Mason Greenwood, I think just talk the footballer, and that's the person that I've seen in the preparation for the game. Very, very good player. Not only a goal scorer, a goal creator, fluid in his positioning. We're certainly going to have to defend him very well. He's a man in form. So part of our plan will be trying to stop their attacking players, and he's certainly one of the very best they've got.
Okay, next one.
Bonjour, coach.
Hello, coach. A second question in French. I would like to talk to you about Roberto De Zerbi. You cross him, you've known him already in the Premier League. So this morning we asked him about your team, and then spontaneously he nominated Tonali and Joelinton as the key players. Do you also think that those two players will be the key players in the match tomorrow night?
Firstly, on Roberto, yeah, I mean, someone that I really admire. Having played against his teams at Brighton, as you say, I think a forward thinker, innovator. His team's always very, very well organised. And I think I know that we have to be really well organised against his style. So looking forward to that challenge that you always have against his teams. Yeah, I think he's picked two very good players. I think the midfield battle will be key for us. We need to try and control space. We need to try and do well technically with the ball as we did against Manchester City. So the challenge is big for us, and those players will be key.
Thank you. Luke Edwards?
Bonjour. You've had good performances before this season. We've had one-off good performances. How important now is it for you to get that consistency to put a run together? Because that's really been the thing that's been lacking.
Yeah, no, I agree. We have played well in one-off games, both home and away. We are looking for that consistency in performance. We're looking at that feeling you have when you know you're going to perform. It's not in doubt, and we've had that for a long, long time. This is probably the first time since I've been here where there's that element where you're hoping we perform and we bring everything together. But from past experience this season, there's no guarantee. Now we need to build our confidence to deliver that. And these games in part will be that acid test for us. I mean, this will be a really tough game for us. We're looking forward to that off the back of Saturday. We feel we can rise to the challenge. And then we go back to the Premier League with Everton in another tough away game. So I think we can answer a lot of questions to ourselves, most importantly in the next two games. And that's how we're trying to set it up.
Thank you. General on the front row.
Marseille has only 4 points. It's a difficult situation in the standings. Do you think it could change the way they approach the game, especially that in the first 10 or 15 minutes, maybe rush into attack? Is it something that you take into consideration?
I think with Roberto's style, I don't necessarily think that they will change or look to get the ball forward quicker than they normally do. I think they have their way, and their way is very effective. You see the goals they've scored this calendar year is hugely impressive. So, no, I think they will be themselves, but that doesn't mean that they won't potentially attack us early in the game. We need to make sure we're ready from minute one to be there psychologically, be there defensively. As I say, as we were against, for me, one of the best teams in world football against Manchester City, that was a great game for us to come through in such a positive way, but we need to use that game. It can't be in isolation, and we need to perform with the same mentality that we did.
Okay, Dominic.
Hi, Eddie. Was had to see a real physical effort from Nick Voltemade the past few games, starting week in, week out. On that note, and with Willisula, Johan Wissa unavailable, does Anthony Gordon as a striker become another potential option or even a necessity over the next few games?
Yeah, I think all options are available to us. It's great to have Anthony back with us. He has worked hard in the break. He's had a minor injury. I don't think it was a serious injury. It was a minor injury, but it was enough to keep him out. And especially with explosive players, you've got to be really careful with muscle injuries that doesn't become a longer-term problem. But he's done the work. I'd say he's fully fit. And, I have the ability to use him in different positions.
Craig Hope.
Hi, Eddie. Just to get on Mason Greenwood, it's the first time he's come up against an English club. We probably haven't seen a lot of him in recent years. Knowing the research and the work you do, you would have watched a lot of him in the past couple of weeks. What sort of player is there now? What are his strengths? What are his, how does he play? What is he now?
Well, he's a very good attacker from the wide right for Marseille, but they use him in a clever way. He can stay wide, and it'd be more of a combiner, I'd say, in that position with players around him. And then he does his most dangerous work when he drifts infield. But as I said, he's not just a goal scorer, he's a goal creator. He's got a really good relationship with players around him. He's got a lovely left foot. So, we're going to have to defend well down that side of the pitch. I'd say that's a big area for Marseille to attack.
Okay, the gentleman in the baseball cap, just behind you, Craig. Yeah.
Bonjour coach, une question en français aussi.
Hello, coach. A question in French. You're coming here at the Vélodrome, and we know that it's a hot stadium. It's very hard to play there. Is that something that you have in mind? Is it also possible to absorb the pressure from the audience, from the fans in the stands? And how do you maybe prepare your team for playing in such a stadium?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities really between the atmosphere, so I'm told, here to St James's Park. So I think we know the full force of the crowd when we are playing well, and when we're at home, the energy and the lift that can give the players. We're potentially going to have that working against us in this game, but I think that should really make us prepare well, make us alive from minute one in this game, because if we're not, it'd be very difficult. So we need to impose ourselves in the game. We need to implement our plan well. And if we can do that, then of course you can rise and use the conditions to your favour. And that's what we have to try and do.
Okay, we're going to take 3 more.
Say again? I don't quite get the question.
Sorry.
Et vous, personnellement,
And personally, how do you feel bringing your team into this stadium? Is this something that you are eager to discover, that you're feeling also? Is that a good feeling to come here?
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't hear you. Yeah, absolutely. I think you want to play in the best atmospheres, whether that's for you or against you. I think both can be really amazing to experience. So looking forward to that challenge. And I know the players feel the same way. And we were well aware when the draw was made, this would be a special game.
Okay, we've got time for 2 more, unfortunately. We'll start with Gary and go to Louise, please. Sorry for anyone missing out.
Thank you. Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
You've spoke about Mason Greenwood there, but they also possess another striker who has scored against your team in the past, Pierre Emerick Aubameyang. From what you've been watching him, he's 36 now. Is he just as good as ever?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, because we've said the same thing, having watched Marseille a lot in the build-up to the game, that for me he is as good as ever, and that's a big compliment to him at 36. Very athletic, still running in behind, still stretching the back lines, still getting away from defenders when he's in those 1v1 situations. So, and a lethal finisher as well. His goal record here has been very good. So another player we have to control well, another player that gets our full respect. And certainly we'll be doing some work with our defenders and our back line in preparation for the game.
Thank you. And then just Louise Taylor to finish, please. Louise.
Thank you. Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Hi. Now, you had your swapping of Sandro and Bruno in the 6 and the 8 role on Saturday, and it worked very well. And you were absolutely brilliant out of possession, without the ball. Do you think sometimes when you're perhaps wanting to be excellent on the ball, do you think ultimately Sandro will need to play in that number 6 role, or can they swap, or can they play together? Or
Yeah, good. We're back to the midfield questions. I like these. Yeah, I think they can do everything. I think there was loads of different reasons why I switched them in position. On this occasion, I felt it benefited both of their performances. Every game is different. It's great to have those options that I can choose. And both players played their different positions with great attitudes. That's fundamentally so important. They wanted to do what was asked of them. So I'll pick every team on its merits in terms of what the opposition bring and what we need to deliver. But 2 outstanding players who can play anywhere for me.
so do you see a repeat tomorrow night?
You'll have to wait and see, Louise, when you get the team sheet.
Okay, that concludes this part of the press conference. Thank you for your questions. You'll be joined by Malik Chow very, very shortly. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.